Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. Hello, you alright? Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. And today, well, this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. This is number 1489. And this is the third, actually, in the Thursday Throwbacks. So it's Thursday Throwbacks, and it's the third one. So 2 weeks ago, oh no, is it the fourth one? I'm getting confused now. It's the third. I thought it was the third one. It's the fourth one. That's how quickly time goes. So on the Thursday, the 23rd of October, I did TV shows 1980. On the 30th of October, I did TV shows 1981. And last week, the 6th of November, Thursday, I did 19 TV shows 1982. So today is TV shows 1983. 4 weeks. It's just... I just didn't realise I'd done that many. So yeah, it's a fourth today. The fourth one. Excuse me. I'm trying to think anything happened. Okay, here's something that's happened. I got talking to one of the dog walkers. So it's a lady that I see every now and then. We get on really well, just chatting. I get on with most of the dog walkers that talk to me. It's usually only the dog walkers that have little dogs. Vinnie, he's not a big fan of big dogs, so I kind of have to keep away from them. So I keep away from dogs that Vinnie's going to bark at, and I keep away from dogs that bark at him. So it does cut out quite a few dogs on the estate or in this area. But it's fine, dogs bark, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't actually bother me that dogs bark at him unless it's a scary dog and it looks like it's trying to get to him. If it's just barking, just generally, I don't care. But if it looks like it's got bad intentions, then yeah, I don't feel too good about that. Generally, but it doesn't happen very often. Plus, he never ever is ever off the lead. So he's always on the lead. So I can keep him with me and control him to the point of where he goes. Because I think if he wasn't off the lead, if he was off the lead rather, he would run towards a dog that he didn't want to be near. That seems to be how he works. He runs towards danger. He's like Scrappy-Doo. And, let me at him. And I miss those times when my little brother watching Scrappy-Doo on TV. I was too old to be watching it, but I got a chance to kind of relive my younger days, because at that time I was like 14, 15, 16, well 14, 15 really, and he was 8 years younger than me. So what was he, about 5 or 6? So I used to like watching all the cartoons in the evening, because I used to look after him before, because I think at least the last year, maybe the last 2 years of family life, maybe the last year, maybe 2 years, both my parents were working. I think one was part-time, my dad was full-time. So I would get home from school and I would look after my brother until one of the parents got home. So I'd watch the cartoons with him, like Musker Hounds. I used to love the Musker Hounds. One for all and all for one. Musker Hounds are always ready. One for all and all for one. Helping everybody. One for all and all for one. This is a story. Yeah, I'll get my singing over and done with. I've already started talking about TV shows, blimey. But yeah, I just remember, I enjoyed that. It was quite a nice, it's kind of the end of my schooling years, the last 2 years of school. And things had changed, like things were different back then, especially the last year. So, so I'm talking to this lady, and she asked me, she was talking about TikTok Live, which I didn't really know much about. Now, I am on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I was on Twitter, I'm not sure if I'm still on Twitter, so I'm probably going to look at that. And I'm on Facebook. I do have a Facebook group called Jason Newland's Boring Group, which you can join if you fancy it. It's a nice little group, a safe space. I'm on YouTube as well, of course. I say of course. Plus I'm on all the different podcast hosts, Apple, Spotify, loads and loads of different ones, and Spreaker. Plus all of my recordings are uploaded. Every time I make new recordings, they're uploaded to my website, so you can stream them, you can download them, all free. And there's 6 versions of each recording. 1 with music, 1 without music, 5 hours and 10 hours with and without music. So I've been, what I did yesterday, I started uploading some videos. I started looking into TikTok. And what can I upload? What length can I upload? And it turns out that I can upload up to an hour video. So I thought, how am I going to do that? And also I'm kind of doing it on my phone, so it's a little bit, I find things easier on my laptop because things are bigger. But, I can get my head around it. So what I do is I download the video from my YouTube channel, just the one without music. I then share that. No, what I do, I edit it on my phone down to less than an hour, so like 58 minutes or whatever, because very few of my recordings are less than an hour. They're normally an hour to 2 hours, sometimes longer. And then I copy the title of the recording off of YouTube. I do the old plus, because I'll save the video at the length it is, add it to TikTok, put in it says we won't recommend anything over 30 seconds or something, which is fine, so I'm not going to get anything recommended. And then it adds, then I put in the title or the information, and it uploads it very quickly, because it's not a big file. Once it sort of downloads from YouTube, because basically I share my Spreaker podcast with YouTube. So every time I release a new recording on YouTube, on Spreaker, it then pushes it onto YouTube. So I don't add it or I don't add it manually. It's an automatic process. So it's quite a small file. It's literally just me talking with an image. So I did that with TikTok. And I thought, okay, well, I'll do it with Instagram as well, who I've been on Instagram a long time. I've not used it very often, really, but I did the same thing, and it was only given a few minutes worth of, it uploaded it, but it wasn't like the full hour, and I don't know what I've done. I'm going to have to play around with it later on to do the Instagram, so it's an hour. So just for future reference, if you are on TikTok, it's under my name, just Jason Newland. I haven't got any kind of, I've not put on a weird name or anything, and you can follow me on there if you like, or just follow me anyway if you want. And the videos on there will be, every time I do a new recording, a new podcast recording, I will upload a video of the first hour of it. Now I realise that won't be the same as listening to the whole thing, but you might fall asleep, so you might not need to listen to the whole thing. An hour might be enough. But then if you are listening on Instagram, I need to sort that one out. So if you're listening on one of the apps like TikTok, for example, you can always just go to my website, jasonnewland.com, or you can go to any of the apps, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or to YouTube, or so there's lots of different places you can listen to me. I'm eventually going to get to what I'm trying to say. So this lady, the dog walker, she started talking about live streams. Now I've pondered the idea of doing a live stream, but just of me doing this recording, just of doing this, The only problem I've got with doing live streams is sometimes I do cough or make weird noises, or sometimes Vinnie barks really loudly. So if this was a live session and you were listening to this to go to sleep, it could be really calm and peaceful, and then suddenly, and I don't get any warning. It is not like there's, okay, if there's a knock on the door, then Vinnie will pretty much be barking before the person even knocks. But most of the time I don't even hear what he's hearing that causes him to bark. So there's no warning. It's not like I can press a mute button in time. It's easy enough to edit it out after the event, but it's no good for a live stream. I mean, just then I did a big massive burp. You didn't need to know that, but just it fits in with what we're talking about. I'm not going to include that in a recording. Every time I make a weird sound that is not really applicable, or Vinnie barks, or someone knocks at the door, or maybe there's some excessive noise outside, or perhaps I need to go to the toilet, or there's a delivery, or whatever it is, I deal with that thing and I clap my hands. Sometimes I tap the microphone as well, but I clap my hands quite loud so that I've got that big kind of ping when I go to editing. It makes it a little bit easier. I'm also charging my doorbell camera as well. That's run out. It's weird. It ran out last night about 9. So I thought, I'm not taking it off at night. Even if it's not working, I want people to think that it's working. So during the day, I've had it on charge for a few hours now. So by the time it gets dark, it should be okay to put it back onto the door. Yeah. I was going to say, oh yeah. So this lady, she was talking about live streams on Instagram. Like, not Instagram. Do they do live streams on Instagram? Oh, I'm not sure. But on TikTok. I'd never even thought about really looking at live streams. I thought about doing one myself, but I didn't perhaps consider that other people do it. Because it just seemed like it was aimed at more younger people. Wasn't really kind of for me. Then I started thinking, perhaps I could do a live stream. Maybe I could do the Q&A Friday as a live stream. Or do something, I don't know. Maybe audio only, so no image, no picture of me talking, just the audio. So pretty much maybe just do it like this. I'm not sure. So I get home, this was probably 2 days ago, in the morning, because I think I had a delivery. So it's probably 2 days ago. Was it yesterday? Might have been yesterday. So I had a delivery. And I got some milk, some breakfast cereal. Well, I can't. It's too expensive, all the food now. But anyway, I got a delivery. So I thought to myself, oh, by the way, I want to address something that was posted on my group. Jason Newland's boring group, or what is it? Let's have a look. It's just something that Kate posted regarding the name of the game that I was talking about, and Gembi, I think is the name of it. So Gembi, is it Gembi or Gembi? Genghis Khan. Oh. And also, few. What I need to do, I want to find out I did a post also earlier in the week. Oh, by the way, Q&A Friday's tomorrow, and I've only got 2 questions. So please post a question or 2 on there so that I've got something to do tomorrow. So far, and I posted earlier, it was a poll. Where do you listen to me from? And Apple Podcasts is coming at the top with 33%, and then Spotify and my website's coming second, joint second, with 22% the people. YouTube is 11%, and then 7% Podcast Addict, 3% is Overcast, and then 1% each for Amazon Music / Audible and Google Podcasts. So I'm going to keep that running because I'm interested in the outcome of that. I kind of figured that Apple Podcasts would be at the top just because my stats generally, apart from recently, although it seems to have gone back to being Apple again, but is Apple Podcasts for multiple years has always been at the top. But my website is definitely increasing, so that's good. I personally think for me, it's the easiest way to listen. Even my website. If I'm in my bedroom, my website. If I'm in the living room, YouTube. So I watch YouTube on the TV. So I just go to my YouTube channel and listen to it there. And there's no adverts on the YouTube channel. So I'm not monetized or anything on there. I'm not monetized at all. Me. Right, what else we got? Yeah, so this lady, we call her Barbara. I don't know, I'm not sure what her name is. It might be Barbara. She said about watching YouTube, TikTok live streams. And I thought, I'm going to have a little look, do a little bit of investigating of that particular format, because I've kind of come to realise, I don't know, studying is probably not the right word, but I've been very much looking into marketing, what I do. And it's not about marketing so I can buy a yacht. I'm a little way away from buying a yacht, but there's the difference really between me getting 1,000 listeners a day and getting 1 million listeners a day. It's just one thing, is more people knowing about me. That seems to be the only difference, the only thing that's really stopping that from happening. And I think as far as testing what I do, because if what I did was really, really bad, I mean, some people would think it's bad, but if what I did was absolute rubbish, then I wouldn't have anyone listening. Some people are going to not like what I do. Some, of course, can't please everyone. And nor would I want to. That's a lie. I want to please everyone. I want everyone to like me. Who doesn't really? It's like, I don't care what people think. Yeah. I think we all do really, don't we? I like to say that, but yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. But when it comes to this, because this is quite personal, if I was on here just telling stories or just making stuff up, which I kind of do as well, but if I was kind of hiding behind a facade, then any rejection wouldn't really matter, other than I'd perhaps be upset because my creativity has been questioned or judged. You know, by putting on a persona and a fake personality or something. Now, I'm sure you agree, in order to put on a fake personality, there'd need to be a personality, wouldn't there? And I guess there isn't one, because I'm so boring. But I am honest. I do talk, not all the time. I do make stuff up, but I like to think that the stuff I make up is very obvious. You know? I hope so, at least. But generally, with like personal stuff, or how I'm feeling and that, and again, I'm honest, but I'm limited. I limit to what I say, because this is, if it can't be uplifting, at least it needs to be relaxing. That's what I am attempting. Even if it doesn't send everybody to sleep, I hope that you can, at the very, very least, feel more relaxed. So there's kind of three kind of doorways in a way. There's feeling relaxed, falling asleep, or being entertained. Like having a friend, listening to a regular person, like on a radio show, like listening to someone. Maybe you listen to me every day, because I generally seem to be on here every day now. And my whole life is based around making these recordings and looking after Vinnie. And today it involved doing some laundry. And getting some rubbish out. And looking at the floor thinking, ooh, someone needs to clean that. Someone needs to clean it, clear it up. Really, wish someone could sort that out. And then just leaving it. But no one does. No one tidies up. I don't know what kind of place this is, but no one tidies up. The bathroom, the kitchen, the bedroom, no one ever makes the bed. Honestly, if I don't turn the lights off, they wouldn't get turned off. So, I live on my own, by the way, just that's why it's silly what I'm saying. So I thought, you know what? What I need to do is, people will only listen if they know about me, or if they know about the podcast. They're not going to listen if they don't know about it. It's really that simple. Did you know that the #1 song in America in the last 3 weeks is a song made by AI? Did you know that? Now, I only found out today. I don't live in America, so USA #1 song. It's called, so it's a Billboard 200? No, Billboard. Okay, Billboard Hot 100. So let's have a look. This chart is now only available to pro subscribers. Really? I can't just go to a different website and get the same information. So Billboard official charts, Billboard Hot 100. The Fate of Ophelia. Is this songs? Oh, these are songs. So, where is it? Thriller is number 10. Why is Thriller? Is it because of Halloween? Does it get in the top 10 every time, every year? But then it says it's been in the charts 26 weeks. So last week was a re-entry, and the peak it's ever got to is 10. So Thriller only ever got to number 10. One of the most famous songs ever. Right, I can't find it. That's very strange. US song number 1, AI. AI. USA number 1, Walk My Walk. The USA number 1 song right now is Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust, an AI generated creation. The milestone marks the first time an AI, that's artificial insemination, created song has reached the top of the charts in the United States. The song has garnered significant attention. Blah blah. It's been downloaded over 2 million times. It's also got a video. I watched it on YouTube today. It's got a video with Clint Eastwood in it. It's a good song. It is. If they just hadn't told anyone it was AI, it might not have got in the charts because that would have given it a lot of attention. So it might not have been as successful. I wonder if it's in the UK. Walk My Walk. UK charts. I can't stop myself now, sorry. UK top 40. Golden. Where's My Husband? Man I Need, Rain Dance, Pussy Palace, Lily Allen, Thriller. Oh look, Thriller's at number 9. So it's seems to be a Halloween thing. Walk My Walk, Walk My Walk. Lily Allen's got loads in the charts. Oh. Walk My Walk, Tit for Tat. Tate McRae. I don't know any of these songs. I'm so out of touch. But I want to be in touch. I really do. I start listening to them. And the only way, because I'm not a fan of any of these people, I'm not like a big, like when with Michael Jackson, he'd release a song and I'd like his album, I'd go and buy the album every time he released a new album, like during his lifetime. From 1987 onwards. But I mean, I know Taylor Swift. It's hard not to know who she is because she's like a megastar, isn't she? Ray, Where Is My Husband? Olivia Dean, Lily Allen, and Lily Allen's. I can't remember the last time she released anything, so I might have a little listen to some of her songs because I used to like her stuff. Like 20 odd years ago. The press really had it in for her. Honestly, I don't know why, they picked on her big time, like quite a few years back, like constantly like harassing her, and she couldn't fart without being on the front pages. Alex Warren, I don't know him. Rockwell, is that the original Rockwell? Bobby Boris Pickett, Monster Mash. Is like the same Monster Mash? I do the Monster Mash. When did you get hot, Sabrina Carpenter? So I know Sabrina Carpenter. I've seen her. Olivia Dean. Tit for Tat. Dracula. Tame Impala. I think I see a video of that. House Tour. Sabrina. I'm just really out. The Gorillas. See, well, I'm happy, feeling sad about sunshine. I mean, I didn't know they were still around. Good on them. Lady Gaga's back. Thanks, Vin. Flappy ears. The Dead Dance, Lady Gaga. So I saw that on YouTube the other day. There's got to be a way. Lewis Capaldi. I love Lewis Capaldi. It's not even, I mean, he's got a great voice, but he's among one of the realest pop stars. I don't know if pop star is the right word, but there is. He's just himself, and his fans love him for it. There was a clip on YouTube where he lost his voice. I don't know if he lost his voice or he had an anxiety attack, something like that. And the audience basically just like sung for him. And it was emotional. Honestly, it was emotional. Because it's kind of, I don't know, some of these, like the boy bands, I don't know if there's boy bands anymore, but it seemed very much about like these young girls, maybe young boys as well, like really fancying these boys, these 19-year-olds, and being fanatical about them. But it seems that with him, people really care, I'm not saying they didn't care about the boy bands, but it's like a different thing. It's not just, I don't know, it seems a bit deeper. And Taylor Swift, it's amazing what she's done. Because she started off, all of her fans have grown up with her, haven't they? So these little girls that were dancing into her videos when they were like 3 are now 30. I don't know if that's true, but they're now like a lot older, and perhaps they're now taking their kids. I might be exaggerating how old Taylor Swift is. She's got to be, she's in her 30s, isn't she? So she's been around a while. Taylor Swift. What's this got to do with it? Well, it is kind of the charts, isn't it? It's just not 1983. Taylor Swift. Right, where are we? Taylor Swift. When is she? She's 35. So when did she have her first album? She got her first record deal at 13. So at 14 she became the youngest signee. Okay. So her first album, Fearless, right, 11 weeks at the top of the Billboard charts, and she was what? 2008. I mean, she has literally been around forever. She's like in her 60s now. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, I thought I'd just mention about the AI #1 song, but I can't see it anywhere. It's very strange, but it does definitely exist because I watched it on YouTube. It's a country song. It's not called country and western, is it? Country music. Anyway, so I thought I need to sort of get more people seeing or listening to my stuff. in order to just be known out there. Because I've been going forever now. I've been around before the internet, before even computers were existed. I've been making podcasts before microphones were invented. I used to talk into a yogurt cup. It worked better when there was no yogurt in it, but better echo. But still, it took a while. It took a few years to figure that one out. But it'd be someone put some string through, and I could only have one audience at the time, and they'd be the other side of the wall in a shed, and they could put the yogurt pot to their ear, again take the yogurt out first, and I could talk, and I could do my let me boy to sleep, and they would fall asleep. It was great, but it's a long time ago. But it's very hard to kind of build upon that when you can only have one member of the audience at a time. And you're very limited to how far away the audience members can be. Because Australia back then was out of the question. Couldn't get a ball of string long enough for that. Plus, I'm not sure if they have yogurts in Australia. Not sure if they're allowed. Do you ever see that on those Nothing to Declare TV shows? I don't watch them anymore, but I used to watch them. I go through little periods when I watch stuff like that, and then I stop. And the amount of people that are going into Australia and they get stopped because they've got food items, when it's very clear that they're not supposed to take that in. But they've got cheese and eggs and meat. And I'm like, most countries sell stuff, don't they? Why would you travel with food? Go to another country and travel with a bag full of food. That doesn't make huge amounts of sense. But then I dated a lady from Romania. And you might be thinking, why mention she's from Romania? What's that got to do with anything? Well, it's part of the story. It's really relevant to the story. Oh, okay then. Oh, see? Stop judging me. I remember when I met her, I said, where are you from? She said, where do you think I'm from? She was really kind of defensive, like, I don't know. I was just trying to talk to her. And I said, India? She said, no. China? No. You from Bolton? No. You from South Africa? No. Finland? No. And I knew she was from Eastern Europe because I could tell from the accent. I've met enough people to know the accent. And she just like, in the end, she thought, I'm from, I can't remember where I said she's from, but she was from wherever she was from. And then I said, oh, what do you do? Because at the time I was counselling. She said, what do you do for a living? What do you think I do? I was like, really defensive again. So she thought I was judging her, and I wasn't. I guess I was trying to chat her up, to be honest. I was trying to sort of get to know her a little bit. We did end up dating. And he said, what do you think? Romania. So she was from Romania. What do you think I do? From Romania, what's the only jobs I could do? I said, what do you mean what's the only jobs you can do? She said, I'm a care worker. I said, Why are you putting it like that? Like it's the only job you're allowed to do. Only job that you'll get is being a care worker. He said, what else could I get? I said, you could become a cleaner, do the washing up somewhere. That didn't make her laugh. It was supposed to make her laugh, but it didn't. And I couldn't really work out where she was coming from, like, because being a care worker is a very, well, clean as well. I've done cleaning, I've done kitchen portering, I've done loads of different things. But caring for someone, it's in the name, isn't it? It's a wonderful job. You're caring. I know it's not well paid, but caring. I care for people. I just found out the other day, and I don't know if this is true or if it's still true, in America, the annual leave or the annual holiday per year for someone working is generally just 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks out of a 52-week year. It's not like that here. I was surprised at that. I thought 2 weeks. Anyway, she went on holiday. Back to, well, it wasn't really a holiday, it was just visiting her family. And she came back and she said she wanted to cook me some food. I said, okay. I rarely turn down free food. So I'm in her flat and we're just chatting and she's in the kitchen and she said, look at this, look what I got. And she pulled out this bag, a dry, you know those dry freeze bags, not frozen but dry, where they suck all the air out, with meat in it. Beef or something like that. And I thought, that's weird, I've never seen that the shops sell that like that before. I said, where'd you get that from? She said, I brought it back from Romania. I said, She said, yeah, I brought it back from Romania. I brought it back from home. Where's it been? Oh, it was in my bag the whole time. So you travelled with some meat in a warm bag all day. It probably took her travelling from where she got to the airport, and then from the airport to London, then from London to where we live. So she's probably travelling a good 12, 14 hours just with all the waiting around and that, maybe more. And I thought, ooh, bacteria, that's what I'm thinking. And I said, so what's for dinner then? She said, this. And I suddenly became very unhungry. I said, no. I said, you know, we do have shops here that sell things. You don't have to bring your own food back. I know you send money there, but it doesn't mean you have to bring food back. Just go to the shops. There's one across the road. Literally, she lived across the road from Aldi, which is, for those in other countries that don't realise, Aldi is a little bit like Harrods. It's a bit like one of the most expensive, top-of-the-range shops. You need to have, pretty much to be a member, like a gold member, costs a lot of money every year. And yeah, there's a big waiting list to get in. But Aldi's it's where royalty generally shops. Yeah. And Lidl, it's a very similar kind of thing as well. But it's the waiting list to get on their membership's not quite as long. Just in case you haven't visited the UK before. And what they do is they put on like a show, it's like a theatre really. So when you go in there, you'll see these people walking around, and they've got this whole display of things like vodka and cheap lager and stuff like that, and you'll see people putting that into the baskets. Now, no one actually shops there really, buys that stuff. It's not for sale really. It's just like entertainment for the staff, for the people going in there, just to watch these people buying cheap bottles of vodka and maybe shouting at each other and shouting at their kids and all that stuff. It's kind of an entertainment thing, like theatre really. It might look like some of them have like hardly any teeth, but it's not. It's all makeup. It's really good. They're very good. So yeah, Aldi's lovely. Aldi's lovely. Harrods used to be one of the top places, but it got, I don't know if you know this, it got bought over. It got bought from the company that owns the Pound Shop or Poundland, one of them. So Harrods, if you go in there, you don't need much money. Everything in there is £1. They don't tell you before you get in there because they like to keep up the illusion of it being like a royal place. But when you go in there, if you see a carpet or an ornament, it might have like £3,000 on it or something, but it's just £1. You just go in there and just pay £1. This is an official warning. Please do not take advice from this recording before travelling to the UK. Find out your official information from an official place. The recording of this person, recording of this thing, is not responsible for any of your actions if you were to come to the UK on holiday. So I'm looking at the stream on Instagram, and I'm thinking, I'm looking through the live streams, and I'm a little bit surprised at what I'm seeing. A fair bit of arguments, a fair bit of, I mean, they had someone on there, and all she was doing was just playing with this doughy, green, blue, doughy stuff. And she had like 40-odd thousand people watching her do it. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but the more I watched, the more I realised that it's kind of grabs you a little bit. It gets you into a, not a neck hold, but it kind of, I found myself wanting to keep strolling down and looking at the next one. Now, what also surprised me is it's not full of kids, which is what I thought it was. That's why I didn't really go on there. It was all adults, but there's a lot of people my age on there streaming live. And bearing in mind how many people use it, I was getting to the end of the streams quite quickly. So maybe I'm on there at the wrong time of the day when it's not very busy. I'm doing the streaming with my finger. I'm moving my finger around because I've been doing that. So what I do is I stream it onto my TV, cast it onto my TV, just because the phone's too small. It's too small. And then I was also surprised that I went into a couple of rooms or I don't want to call them live streams. And I accidentally asked to join one. I didn't mean to, so I kind of came out of there. And I got kicked out of one. I didn't do anything. I just went into the room or into the chat thing and was just watching, and they kicked me out. Honestly, I did nothing. And I wasn't on camera or nothing. I was just literally just watching it. And I realised that some people go onto TikTok, do a live stream, and expect to have a private conversation. I find that very funny. It's like, it's one of the most public places you could go. And there was hundreds of, or maybe thousands of people watching. And they were moaning that people they didn't know were on there. This is a private conversation. So, yeah, it's a very strange environment. To me, I mean, I'm not used to it. I don't really do much in the way of live stuff anyway, really. Even on YouTube, I watch some live stuff, but it's usually too shaky and cuts out, so it's not easy to watch. I mean, some people just film themselves at work all day, whether it's in a butcher's shop or cooking people's breakfasts, or in a supermarket, delivery driver, lorry driver. I've seen all those kinds of things where they're just filming everything that goes on. And they've got audiences, thousands of people watching. Maybe it's because it's a case of nothing's happening, but something's got to happen soon. And then like an hour later, still nothing's happened, which means it should be about time that something happened. Something's got to happen at some point. It's almost kind of a gambling mentality, isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't make sense logically. Not really. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look into it, but for now, I'm content with uploading the latest video onto TikTok every day, but just an hour of it. And now I need to look at today's podcast. But you've been talking, you've not done it yet. I know, sorry. Thursday. Trivia Tuesday. Thursday. Okay, find it in a minute. Thursday Throwbacks. So all I've got to do now is put in 1983, and it will continue finding me the charts. Not the charts, it's TV, isn't it? The TV shows of 1983. It says here that 1983 was a big transitional year in British television. Channel 4 is now in its first full year. ITV was shifting toward more modern drama. BBC comedy was entering a golden era. And according to this, children's TV had an explosion of classic shows born in 1983. Okay, so here we go, forward with Thursday Throwbacks, 1983. Okay, these are some shows that first appeared in 1983. Blackadder. It was, I thought it was on BBC Two. I'm sure they showed it on BBC Two later on. But anyway, Blackadder has Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, in it. And if you're from another country, well, even if you're from this country, you've never heard of Blackadder, which is possible, I suppose, it's worth checking it out. It's very funny, it's very original. And I was going to say if you're a Rowan Atkinson fan, but if you're a Rowan Atkinson fan, it might be because of Mr. Bean. And don't watch Blackadder if you think it's going to be like Mr. Bean. It's got the same face, but it's not Mr. Bean. It's very different. I prefer Blackadder than Mr. Bean. Although the first series of old Mr. Beanie, back in whatever year it was, I thought was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I've kind of gone through that a few weeks ago. I'm sure I did. Talked about Mr. Bean. Yeah, there wasn't as many episodes as I thought there was. But there's been a couple of movies, isn't there, I think? So, Blackadder, it's a historical sitcom. It stars the same characters throughout each series or season. But they change. They go to a different time in each one, I think they do in each one. So there's one where it's World War One. There's one where it's Queen Victoria, I think, or Queen Elizabeth, or I don't know. It's a long time ago. Not our Queen, or our previous Queen recently. I mean. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's a few different ones. It's like different eras. One where he was. I'm sure there was one where it was during the plague. There was another one where it was during the what's his name who discovered potatoes. I don't know. Whatever. So. It's very funny. It's written by, if you like Love Actually, then it's written by the same man who did that. So Rowan, Love Actually, and 3 Weddings and a Funeral. So Love Actually, Richard Curtis. I'll tell you what he's done, just to let you know. Television, he did... What? Why is it saying that he didn't do it? He did do... I thought he did... I got it wrong. I got it absolutely wrong. I thought he did Blackadder, but according to this he didn't. But he did do Mr. Bean. He did the two. He was a writer for both of the Mr. Bean movies. Oh, no, short films. And he was a writer and executive producer of Bean in '97, and then in Mr. Bean's Holiday, he was the executive producer of that. He also did Notting Hill, very funny movie, it's good. That's got, who's it got in it? Supermodel, and 4 weddings and a funeral. The Tall Guy, that was good. It's almost one of those movies that seems to have been forgotten. Notting Hill, Bridget Jones's Diary, he was the writer of. Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason, he was a writer of. Oh, he didn't do any more. That's confused me. It really has. Now, it doesn't take much sometimes. But if I go to Mr. Rowan Atkinson, I really thought Richard Curtis and Ben Elton are the ones that wrote the whole thing. Thin Blue Line. He was in Wonka, I didn't know that. Blackadder. It's a Blackadder. I wonder who else did it then. It is Richard. Blackadder did write. It was created by Richard Curtis. Written by Richard Curtis with Rowan Atkinson Series 1 and Ben Elton Series 2 to 4. So he created it with Rowan Atkinson. So why is Blackadder not mentioned? I am looking at Wikipedia and there's no reason to expect it to be correct, is there? It's just, it's a human being that's wrote this. It looks really well done, but then they've missed out a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's, how strange. It's a big gap. Oh, mini-series, the Blackadder. Why is he calling it a mini-series? It's a TV show. It's a comedy. Okay, fair enough. So that was Blackadder. It was good. It was... But all the characters like Queenie, the... What's his name? He was always Blackadder, Rowan Atkinson, and not Granville. Oh, I've forgotten his name now in the show, but he's Blackadder's servant really, and it'd always say, in all his shows, it'd say, "Oh, I have a cunning plan." Boderick. Was it Boderick? Roderick? Boderick? And there was one where he falls in love with a boy or a bloke. I think this is when they're on a ship. And he doesn't know he's got these feelings for Bob. And the way he keeps saying Bob, it turns out that Bob is a lady dressed as a boy, a man, so that he could be a pirate or whatever. And that was quite funny, because he was very conflicted, because he loved her. He loved the person. It was a good show. I liked it. Richard Curtis is an absolute legend. You imagine having that amount of work that you've done, written those amount of movies and TV shows. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Crime Watch debuted in June 1983. Crime Watch UK, I don't know why they did that. I mean, it was being shown in the UK. Maybe there was another country had it. I used to watch it sometimes, but it wasn't really my thing, especially not in 1983. I sometimes watched it later years, you know, when I was like in my 20s. It just basically give you the update of what's going on and show pictures of people that were being looked for by the police and things like that. Then you've got the late breakfast show. Noel Edmonds' Saturday show launched 1982, but had a massive surge in 1983. Now, I was always a big fan of Noel Edmonds. I have very fond memories of Noel Edmonds being on the multicoloured swap shop, I think, when I was 7, on a Saturday night. No, it's Saturday morning, sorry. Saturday morning children's TV. That's when the we used to have children's TV on a Saturday morning. And then he was also... Did he do Telly Addicts as well? I think he did. So he did that. Then in the 80s he did the Late Breakfast Show. Then he did Telly Addicts. Then in the 90s he did Noel's House Party on a Saturday night with Mr. Blobby. Never a big fan of Mr. Blobby. But it was a really upbeat, nice TV show, and I would watch it because it was nice. It was not just nice, but it was feel good, the feel good show. And yeah, I was a fan of Noel's all the way through that. And then in the 2000s, I used to watch him on Deal or No Deal. So literally the 70s, 80s, 90s and 2000s, 4 decades, spanned 4 decades, and I would watch Noel Edmonds. I loved him on Big Deal or No Deal. He made it his. I know that not everyone's a fan and, you know, whatever, but yeah, big fan here. Always liked what he did. And there's, you know, I just remember those Saturday mornings, especially when we was coming home from the children's home just at weekends to start with. This is staying with my dad. So I was getting to watch Saturday morning TV shows, like children's shows, for the first time. And I was seeing things like, you know, I mean, I think it was the first time, I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't remember any time before that watching Saturday morning cartoons. So, you know, previous, like recent, maybe when I was very young, maybe, but Noel Edmonds' Swap Shop. So it was kind of, he was this familiar, positive, comforting presence. Yeah. Bird of Prey. Okay, this is some drama. I don't remember that. 1 Foot in the Past. BBC Two. Heritage Architecture. No, I was never interested in stuff like that. You know, digging up stuff and looking at bones and just like, no, I don't know why, I just didn't, no, just never really been into it. MasterChef, BBC. This is the original format, early 1980s. A trial run begins in 1983. It's become a really big show over the last 20 years or so. Not so much at the moment. There's a few wiggles and wobbles over the whole thing. But so next is That's Life. I love That's Life. Used to be on a Sunday evening. That's Life. New presenters, format change in 1983. So it was around before 1983. Okay. I know Esther Ranson was on it. Maybe she was on it before that. But it was kind of a wacky show. Very, sorry, I was going to turn around there. Very wacky, very strange. It'd have like funny stories, talking dogs, the things like sausages. I don't know, and they'd set people up so they could, like, if someone was being a fraudster or like a con man, you know, going around people's houses and pretending to fix something but actually not do it. So they'd send a bit. They still do it now, but in a different kind of format, a different show, because That's Life isn't on anymore. And they'd set a house up and they'd film the person going in and not doing anything and pretending they've done something and then wanting to charge extra money, or maybe taking it apart and saying it needs new bits or whatever. So they did stuff like that. They were it was like a magazine show, I suppose you would call it. The Return of Sherlock Holmes. I always liked Sherlock Holmes. I liked them all, to be honest. My favourite is the Boneheart, whatever his name is. That's probably my favourite one. Taggart. Pilot episode 1983 series, aired 85. The series didn't come out till 85, but the first pilot was 1983. Taggart. He was Scottish. The Bounder, so I remember this one, Peter Bowles, early 83. He was a womanizer and a con man, and he was basically doing the long con. And I can't say I really understood everything that was going on, but I liked it. I liked it. It was a bit too adult really for me, but I liked it. Fresh Fields. I don't know why I remember that, but I don't remember what it is. I just remember the name. Sitcom starring Julia Mackenzie. The pilot aired in 83, but the show didn't start till 84. Just Good Friends. The pilot again, 83. Just Good Friends. Paul Nicholson, I think. I loved that show. It's basically Pamela. Is it Pamela? But it's about a couple who nearly get married, I think, and then they don't. His name's Vince and she's Penny, and I can't believe I just remembered that. Vincent and Penny. He comes back into her life. She doesn't want anything to do with him, but they still kind of obviously clearly have feelings for each other, and they play around and don't really. It's kind of will they or won't they the whole way through, and they nearly do and then they don't. And when I say nearly do, I'm talking about getting together and getting married and stuff. It was good, and Penny's mum, she did everything to get in the way of it, to get in the way of the relationship. Wow. Let's have a look. Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. ITV, November 1983. I've talked about this before. I'm sure I have. I didn't realise. Maybe I just talked about it as in the 1980s. But this is 1983. and it says here, had a huge cultural impact. So on Channel 4 here, The Tube, launched in 1982 but peaked in 1983 in popularity. It was, I think it was kind of like the Channel 4's version of Top of the Pops. So it had music and stuff. I used to watch it, it was good. I don't know why, but I have a feeling it used to be on Fridays, early evenings. And I think Top of the Pops was on a Thursday on BBC One. The Comic Strip Presents. So this just continues, so there's another one, because it started before that. The Living Planet, shown on both Channel 4 as well as BBC that year. Is that Richard Attenborough, David Attenborough, one of them? Crystal Tips and Alistair. I've got no idea what that is. It's a kids' TV show. Reruns widely. Okay, so it's an old show apparently. The Friday Alternative, launched in 1983. So these are the continuing shows. It feels a bit weird just talking about the continuing ones because I mentioned those last week, maybe even the week before. So you've got comedy shows, Only Fools and Horses, The Two Ronnies, The Young Ones. So Only Fools and Horses, BBC One, was Series 3. And then The Young Ones, Series 2. Heidi High, BBC One. Open All Hours, BBC One. Rise Abbott's Madhouse, ITV. Cannon and Ball, ITV. The Kenny Everett television show, BBC One. Now, I don't remember mentioning this before. Now, there was a TV show on, and it came to the end of an era. It was still on TV in 1983. Now, I realise 1983 is a long time ago if you're 20. Or if you're 30. I mean, it's a fair distance ago, but there was a TV show on that you may be surprised was still on in 1983, called, and this was like, thanks Vinnie, make a bit more noise please, thanks. And I do believe this was on a Saturday evening. You ready? The Black and White Minstrel Show. The Black and White Minstrel Show. So it was aired. It was a popular British television programme that aired from 1958 to 1978, known for its controversial use of blackface and its impact on entertainment and racial representation in the UK. They were still showing it in 1983. And I remember seeing it on TV. It's kind of one of those memories you think, no, really? No. But then my dad's generation grew up watching it. So it started in 1958. My dad was born in 1946. So he was 12. So my dad was 12 years old when it was on. The show featured a mixture of traditional American minstrel songs, country songs and musical hall numbers performed by a cast that included the Mitchell Minstrels and the Television Toppers dance troupe. It was produced by George Innes and conducted by George Mitchell, who arranged many of the musical numbers. The show was notable for its lavish costumes and large-scale productions, attracting a peak viewership of over 20 million people in the UK. It was celebrated. I've got to keep editing it because I keep laughing. I just can't believe what I'm reading. It was celebrated for its musical performances, winning the Golden Rose of Montreux in 1961, and became one of the most watched variety shows of its time. I'm just. But they were still showing it in 1983. The weekly variety show presented traditional American whatever. A popular stage show based on a TV show with the same title ran from 1962 to 1972 at the Victoria Palace Theatre, London. That was followed by tours of UK seaside resorts until 1989, and tours in Australia and New Zealand. From early in its history and increasingly throughout its run, the show received criticism for its content, I say. It had become a long-established feature of British music halls and seaside entertainment since the success of acts such as Virginia Minstrels in Liverpool in the 1840s and Christie Minstrels in London in the 1850s. These led directly to many British imitators, such as Hamilton's Black and White Minstrels in the 1880s, and many others, with Uncle Mac's Minstrels becoming such a popular mainstay in Broadstairs, Kent, from the 1890s to the 1940s, that a plaque was erected to honour their memory. It started off as a one-off show on TV, and then it just kind of became very popular. The series gained considerable international regard and was sold to over 30 countries worldwide. In 1961, the show won a Golden Rose at Montreux for Best Light Entertainment Programme, and its first 3 albums of recordings, 1960 to 62, were all hits, the first 2 being long-running #1 albums in the UK Albums Chart. The first of these became the first album in UK album sales history to pass 100,000 sales. So it broke the sales history record at the time for the most album sales ever. Wow. I think that the recording artists today would be happy to get 100,000 sales of actual physical, because they don't. It's all online now, isn't it? All digital, really, pretty much. Do they still sell CDs? I don't know. Do they? Whoever they are. Who are they? It performed 6,477 times from 1962 to 72 at the Victoria Palace Theatre. The Guinness Book of Records listed it at as the stage show seen by the largest number of people. In Melbourne, 1962, a production of the show ran for 3 years, and it set Australia and New Zealand box office records. While it started off being broadcast in black and white, the TV show was first shown in colour on BBC in 1967. Several personalities guested on the show while others started their careers on it. Comedian Lenny Henry, then in his teens, became the first black performer to appear on it in 1975. Yeah, he got a little bit of stick for that. Lenny Henry is a very famous person in the UK. So I don't remember him in 1975, but I remember him in the late 70s, early 80s. And he would do... Either he was on Tiswas, I think it was Tiswas, or maybe he was on the Swap Shop. But he would do a thing where he said, "Okay," like that. And it just big long word that lasted for ages. And... yeah, I remember. Wow. In 2009, Lenny Henry explained that he was contractually obliged to perform, and he regretted his part in the show. To be fair, I mean, he was a kid. He was a teenager, and he was offered an opportunity to be on television. How many teenagers are going to turn that down? In reality, even if it is kind of making fun of yourself. I don't know. I don't think you can blame yourself for it. He went on to be very successful as a comedian, and I think he won New Faces, I think. I'm pretty sure he went on New Faces, which was a talent show. This was in either the early 80s or late 70s. And he stood behind a screen so the audience couldn't see him. And he did an impression of Frank Spencer, who was a very popular character in a sitcom called Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. One of my all-time favourite sitcoms. But I will cover that subject probably in a future episodes, but so the audience, the screen come across, and they saw that it was Lenny Henry, and he got a standing ovation. I made that bit up, but I think it did happen. Yeah, I don't know. It seems weird that was ever a thing. But then, they knocked Cliff Richard off the album charts. So there's a UK albums chart #1 from November 61 to 6th of January 62, and Blue Hawaii took over. Elvis Presley's Blue Hawaii. Hawaii, USA. Blue Hawaii, USA. Here's a weird one. The next one, it took over, it proceeded, it knocked, not Cliff Richard, but the Shadows, who was Cliff Richard's backing group, knocked the Shadows off the top from December 62 to 15th of December 62. And then the next one was West Side Story by the original soundtrack. Wow, it's just weird. I don't know why. It just feels weird that that was a thing, like an actual thing, a real thing. Just, yeah. Yeah, Spitting Image, so that was on as well. And these were continuing shows in 1983. Coronation Street, Crossroads, Emmerdale Farm. These are the drama soaps. Juliet Bravo, Bergerac, Tenko. Never really watched Tenko. All Creatures Great and Small, The Gentle Touch, Crown Court, Minder, Tick, love Minder, The Professionals. Final episodes shown in 1983. I was allowed to sit up to watch The Professionals because it was on a Saturday night, probably about 9 o'clock, so I could watch that. We stay up later Saturday, maybe Friday as well, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, Professionals was good. Blake 7. So it concluded in 1981, but they had reruns in 1983. I did like Blake 7. I talked about it last week, I think. Or the week before, rather. Boys from the Black Stuff, Howard's Way. I used to watch Howard's Way, but I didn't watch it until more the late 80s. And it's all about, I'm going to check it though, I think it's all about a shipping yard, if I remember. It's very dramatic. Howard's Way. Let's have a look. Howard's Way TV. Oh, it was pre-production in 83. So it wasn't actually released until 85, so I'll talk about it then. But I used to watch it in the late 80s. And it was, I don't know why, it was good, but it really was. Yeah, the series deals with the personal and professional lives of the wealthy yachting and business communities. This is Pine Camera on board, lots of yachts and yachting and yacht racing and stuff like that. Cool. Children's TV, one of the biggest years in UK children's TV history. I'm going to list these. Bearing in mind I was 12/13 in 1983. I suppose most of the year I was 12. Henry's Cat, I don't remember that. Janet and John, a reboot. I'm guessing these are aimed at very little kids, so I wouldn't have watched these unless I watched them with my little brother. Postman Pat. Postman Pat. Postman Pat and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning. Pat, for he's a very happy man. I think that's how it goes. So, oh yeah, that was popular. Apparently, little dolls of Postman Pat were popular. Grange Hill. Now, I mentioned this last week, but Grange Hill. 1983. I'm not going to tell you about the storyline, but it was huge, and I don't think any children's show or show aimed at children had ever covered this particular subject. And it was massive. Like, it was talked about on the news, it was in the papers, it was just really big. Yeah, it was. Then we had Blue Peter. I used to watch Blue Peter, but I didn't make any of the stuff that they made, you know. They did this whole thing. So, we're going to make a ship today, boys and girls. We're going to make a ship out of empty dreams and farts. I don't know, just out of bits of cardboard and plastic pens and random sticky things from the floor, chewing gum from underneath the school desks. We're going to make a yacht. So they'd like have all this stuff on the bench, and they'd be like putting together bits and bobs, and then they said, here, because they clearly were running out of time, here's one I made earlier. So they, from outside, underneath the desk, they'd bring it. It looked nothing like what was on the desk before. You can get all the detail of this. You can, if you send in a postcard, you can buy this. Oh, I don't know if they sold it, but I think they might have sold the how to do it. Or you can get these details in the latest Blue Peter magazine. Ooh. Here's one I made earlier. And they did that with cakes. They'd make this mess, complete mess of stuff in a bowl. Here's one we make earlier. And they'd bring out a cake, all decorated like a big wedding cake. Like, wait a minute, but you didn't have enough stuff in there for scones a minute ago. Now it's a wedding cake. We've got a butterfly. I'm going to make this butterfly do some wonderful butterfly things. So here's one I made earlier. It's like, oh, it's a dove. Like, no, stop it. I remember there was this incident, and they had a garden, Blue Peter. It was at the Blue Peter BBC TV studios or whatever. They had a garden, and you know, they'd been working on it and making it nice and everything. And I think over the weekend some people got in there and trashed it all up. And it was the most serious episode of Blue Peter I've ever seen. I really thought I'd accidentally clicked on the news. Oh my goodness, it's the news. I didn't want to read. Why is all the Blue Peter cast doing the news? I don't want to hear about the news. And it wasn't. They were just like saying this had happened, and it was really serious. It was like, wow. Like, why would someone do that? But I just had to wait. Luckily I can turn it over, and there was cartoons on the other side. Basil Brush. Now, I'm not sure if I've mentioned Basil Brush at all, because these are repeats and specials. So Basil Brush was massive. He was peak time Saturday night entertainment on, I don't know which channel, BBC One. And he was a little fox, looked a little bit like Vinnie, a puppet. very funny. I mean, I'm not sure how funny he would be now, but I was a kid and I find him hilarious. And he used to have catchphrases where he'd say something like, "Dirty Gertie at number 30." And they'd have a laugh like, boom, boom. And it was brilliant. I'm not really selling it to you, am I? But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And it had celebrities, dancers, singers. It was funny, had comedians on there. It was great. I used to enjoy Saturday evenings. It was the only night of the week I would say that I looked forward to, like through that period of my life, from the age of 7 to, I don't know, 15. 7 to 15. It was, or 7 to 14. Things changed a little bit in the last year, but 7 to 14, Saturday nights, as a family, it changed a little bit because both my brothers were getting older. So my oldest brother was 4 years older than me, so he was out doing other things long before then. So by about 82, he was pretty much out. He was like, 12? He was 16, so he was out with his friends. 84, he was 18, so yeah, he wasn't around as much. My other brother, 2 years older, he was out more and more. But the period, like, I don't know, 81, 82, 83, when everyone was there, it was nice. We'd watch the TV, but also we'd get videos out from the video shop. And we'd get like 3 or 4. It used to be brilliant. It's almost like we were all on the same page. I was quite agreeable when it came to movies. I was kind of happy to watch anything, really, because I loved the atmosphere in the house, the excitement of watching a movie that wasn't on television, and it was, yeah, I used to look forward to that. I suppose, really, I'd look forward to Fridays. The moment I'd look forward to most of all in the week would be Friday, at the end of the day when the last bell went at school. That would be my thing I'd look forward to most. So I'd enjoy Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, in them days, everything was closed. I mean, in them days, even we used to have a half-day Wednesday in this country. So shops would close half day, like 1 o'clock or something on a Wednesday. It's hard to believe. And we'd have pub hours where pubs would only open, and it would be the same. Anyone buying alcohol or cigarettes or anything like that, they could only buy it between like 11:30 and, I don't know, 2, and then not again till 5:30 till 10, or 6:30 till 10, something like that. So the supermarkets, they would have shutters that would, like, they'd shut it down, so no one could see. They wouldn't serve anything. I remember I used to work in a supermarket when I was 17, and I was just like, wow. People would try and get in there and they'd be like 30 seconds late. Now, if there's no one around, I didn't care. But I wasn't allowed to serve them anyway, without permission. So I had to be 18. So I could serve alcohol, providing I got permission from my manager to sell it. But when my manager wasn't around, just if it's someone I knew, if it's someone I didn't know, I didn't just like no. But if it's someone I knew, like a regular, it's like, yeah, okay, there you go. Even if it was out of time, I don't think they're gonna come looking for me now. The co-op. Well, in 1987, you served a gentleman called Mr. Paddock, who lived at 43 Chelmsford Ham Avenue, and he came in at 1 minute past closing time of the legal serving laws, and you sold him a half bottle of vodka, and you didn't get permission from your manager. Come on. Off to the stocks. So yeah, I think I didn't do it very often, but I think it's important to look after your regulars as a business, even if it's a supermarket. And it was a big one, a big chain of supermarkets, but it's still like, they're still regulars. Still should be treated like, because they're important. Without the customers, there's no business, is there? Even I realise that. Although it's kind of weird, I think it's a different attitude in this country back then as well. I get the impression that with America, in America, they go out to help. They go out of their way to help people, and the customer's always right. It's kind of the attitude, but here it's almost like someone working in the shop is doing you a favour by helping you. Not so much now, but maybe in the past it's felt like that. You know, like they're doing you a favour, taking your money. When did that happen? But that's one of the things, that if you're going to employ people that don't want to be there, they're probably not going to do the best job. That's kind of one of those things, isn't it? Sort of retail jobs sometimes, not all times, but occasionally. I'm thinking to myself, really, when I had retail jobs, I didn't like it. And sometimes I didn't want to be there. And I was getting paid very, very poorly. So I possibly wasn't always the best. I mean, I usually tried to be nice, but occasionally, you know, I probably wasn't the most helpful. I'd say I was pretty much okay. Generally not rude, I don't think. News and current affairs. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry. I haven't got through all the children's ones yet. Blue Peter, Basil Brush, Chock-a-Block. 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 Still airing in early 83. I don't remember Chock-a-Block, but I enjoy saying it for some reason. Chock-a-Block. Let me have a look. I'm going to have to look this one up, because Chock-a-Block. A crammed full of people or things. Okay, TV show. Why is it clearly it's not coming up? Okay, Chock-a-Block TV. Oh, I remember the presenter on this. Michael Cole. Oh, okay. No, it's I don't know what his name is. It's a very colourful show. Rock-a-block. Chock-a-block? Rock-a-block? It was... I think it was a little bit more... I don't know. I just kind of... It looked familiar. Whether I would have watched it... I might have watched it with my little brother. The Family Ness. I don't know that one. ITV. Fraggle Rock. Let the music play. Rolling for another day. Down at Fraggle Rock. My only memorable quote from Fraggle Rock is, "The trash heap has spoken." I loved Fraggle Rock. I did. I watched it. See, I secretly, I watched it with my brother, but I secretly loved it. And I watched it all the way up to... I used to watch it at 1986 in the mornings, on Saturday mornings. And I still watched it on a Saturday morning in the early 90s, if it was on. It might have been reruns at that point. So I was in my early 20s. I just loved it. Fraggle Rock and Muppet Babies. Although I think that came a little bit later, but they used to have those on a Saturday morning in the early 90s. But I won't be coming till the early 90s until the new year, I don't think. Yeah, it'll be the new year before I get to... because I've still got 6 more weeks of the 80s to get through. Button Moon. So this is continuation. Rainbow, Danger Mouse. I love Danger Mouse. The Sooty Show. I'm sure it used to be called the Sooty and Sweep Show, but Sooty Show. Super Ted. So this was... I don't know. Some of these are continuing and some of these are new. Super Ted. First broadcast in 1983. Channel 4 ITV. And Fraggle Rock was first broadcast in the UK in 1983 as well. I liked Super Ted. And then, but again, I watched that with my little brother. I didn't watch it on my own, unless there was no one around. Music and culture, Top of the Pops, still massively influential, yep. Thursday nights. I think it was the 90s when they changed it to Friday nights. Or maybe it was 2000s. Old Grey Whistle Test, never watched it. The Tube, I can't remember if I even watched that either. South Bank Show, no, not really. Sight and Sound in Concert, nope. News and Current Affairs, I wouldn't have watched any of these in 1983. So you got Panorama, Newsnight, Nationwide, that ended in 1983, replaced by 60 Minutes, World in Action, Weekend World, and Channel 4 News in its first full year. So I wouldn't have watched any of these, but maybe later on, you know, in my younger adult years maybe. Sport, I wouldn't have watched any of this. Match of the Day, Grandstand, World of Sport, FA Cup, Wimbledon, Formula 1. Okay, so I would watch the FA Cup and I would watch the Wimbledon finals. That was like a regular thing in our household. Pot Black. BBC Two. Yeah, that's the snooker boom continues. Snooker was so big back then. Major Import imports shown in the UK in 1983. Some of these are continuing from last week or from last year, the year before. Magnum PI, BBC One, Knight Rider, ITV. I love both of those. The A-Team, ITV, one of the biggest imports of 1983. Huge show. I love all of those. Chips, ITV. As far as I remember, all of these shows I've mentioned so far, so Magnum, Knight Rider, A-Team and Chips, all on a Saturday evening. Not all the time, because they'd have their seasons or their series and then the next one to take over. But Saturday night, peak time, probably around between 5 and 9, I suppose peak time would be on a Saturday. Hill Street Blues. Never watched that. I might have seen it when I first got my television, but I didn't see it on normal TV. Like, I'd never heard of it. In fact, I don't remember really watching it until I was possibly in my 20s. I might be wrong. Cagney and Lacey, large UK debut in 1983. I used to watch Cagney and Lacey. I liked it. I think they used to be on the BBC One as well, on sort of Saturday night, but that would be a little bit later. And you got Cheers, Channel 4. I never watched that until I had my own TV. Fame, in the middle of the week, probably about, I'd say a Thursday or a Tuesday, maybe a Monday, around about 7 or 8. I used to watch that. I used to love it. The Fall Guy. I'm pretty sure that used to be on a Saturday. And then it changed to be like midweek. So I used to like that as well. Comedy, Taxi, MASH and Three's Company. Happy Day reruns. Three's Company, I can't quite remember, but Happy Days, they were showing that for years and years and years and years and years and years. So I used to watch that. I think it was BBC Two it used to be on. And they were showing it in the 90s as well. Taxi, I don't remember ever watching it in that time. I watched it later on. It was one of those shows that they just don't make available. It's quite hard to stream it. And it was a very funny sitcom. MASH. I started watching MASH for the first time when I got my TV, which was about 84. Children's imports. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Oh, have the power. Huge hit. That was huge hit. Oh, have the power. I mean, Action Men figures, everything. It was, yeah, I loved it. Never watched the movie. It's weird, I just didn't. I think I might have even, I don't know if I had the action figures or I used to play with my brother's action figures. But I loved it. The Smurfs. Yeah, I like the Smurfs. Inspector Gadget. Yeah, regional UK to 83. Inspector Gadget. That was funny. Yeah, it was very funny. I like that. And you got Transformers, robots in disguise. So it was in pre-production, not broadcast till '84. So we'll talk about that next Thursday. So these are the last few points he's putting out. 1983 was the year British TV began feeling properly modern. Yeah, but people probably felt that in the 70s, though, didn't they? They probably felt that in the 60s. You know, for every generation probably thinks, oh, TV's become really modern now. I wonder if we'll miss television when it's no longer on. When it literally is just streaming. There's no set time. You haven't got to sit and watch something at a certain time like now. I mean, it's getting less and less like that already, so I'm wondering how it will be. Comedy was being reshaped by Blackadder, The Young Ones, and the upcoming rise of Spitting Image. Spitting Image used to be on a Sunday night, and when it started out, it was very funny. It's basically, for those who don't know, they'd have these caricature puppets of famous people, and the voices would be done by people like Steve Coogan. I think that's one of his first jobs he had, and a few other people. I think maybe Alistair McGowan as well, possibly, and they'd do the voices. And it was really, really popular. The Young Ones, I do believe, was on a Tuesday night on BBC Two. But I talked about that last week, I think. ITV scored one of the biggest hits of the decade with Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. It was a huge, huge show. That was a midweek show as well. UK Kids TV entered a golden era with Henry's Cat, Danger Mouse, Fraggle Rock, and stronger BBC educational programming. Henry's Cat, I don't remember, but Danger Mouse and Fraggle Rock. And I refused to watch anything if it was educational. Oh, no. Channel 4, which is a new channel, found its identity. Countdown, The Tube, Comic Strip Presents, and edgy documentaries. And it still had Brookside, if I do believe. Brookside had already been started. Let's have a look. Drama soaps. I thought, why is Brookside not on there? I guess it can't remember everything, can it? It was unfair to expect it to do that. Countdown, still going now. Other than Coronation Street, Countdown is probably the longest running TV show. In the lot. I've written in the top. If I can speak the words, in the top 5, possibly number 2. I think I'd say Coronation Street's the top as far as being on television. Yeah. And then America heavily influenced UK screens with Knight Rider, The A-Team, Hill Street Blues, Cagney and Lacey, Cheers, and continuing with Dynasty, Dallas, loads of other stuff. I used to love the A-Team. I loved Knight Rider as well. Hill Street Blues didn't watch. Kagan and Lacey, kind of adult. Cheers didn't watch either until my own TV. Maybe it was on channel. Was Cheers on? I wonder if Cheers was on Channel 4 back then. I know it was on Channel 4 in the late 80s. Yeah. But that do bring us, I believe, to the end of this here recording. Yeah. So next week I will do 1984. Tomorrow is another edition of Q&A Friday. And please remember to take care of yourselves. You deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love.